You ever get a gut feeling you just can't shake? A hunch that comes out of nowhere and turns out to be spot on? Well, today we're diving deep into that mysterious world of intuition. What exactly is this sixth sense? And maybe more importantly, should we actually listen when it speaks up? Let's jump right in with a true story that is, well, it's as chilling as it is incredible. It all starts on the afternoon of November 2nd, 2006. So the author of our source material is just going about his day, right? When all of a sudden he gets hit with this powerful, awful feeling, just this overwhelming dread that his wife, who's miles away on a bus, is in some kind of terrible danger. He couldn't ignore it. It was too strong. So he stops everything he's doing and just prays for her to be safe. And here's where it gets wild. At that very moment, on that bus, his wife feels a sudden wave of unease wash over her too. She couldn't tell you why. There was no logical reason for it. Just this sudden feeling of being annoyed and really uncomfortable. So, acting on nothing but that impulse, she gets up and moves to an empty seat closer to the front. Not even 10 minutes pass. And then, bam, a huge explosion rips through the bus. A tire, directly under the seat she was just sitting in, had blown out. It tore a hole right through the floor, sending metal shrapnel flying everywhere. She would have been right on top of it. She was completely safe, all because of an impulse she couldn't explain. I mean, this whole thing just forces you to ask, what was that feeling? What was that mysterious hunch that warned both of them about a danger they couldn't possibly have seen coming? Our source calls this a spiritual sense. It's like the highest, most powerful form of what we usually just call intuition. It's this idea of a perception that goes beyond sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. A way of knowing that taps into something much deeper. So here's the crucial part. Intuition doesn't work like our normal, logical brain. It's not about methodically thinking through a problem. It's more like a direct download of an answer, an instant knowing. And it's not just some vague, fuzzy thing. It actually has these really clear traits. One, it's instantaneous. It just hits you in a flash. Two, it's perceptive. It somehow cuts right to the heart of a situation. And three, the big one, it's non-logical. It totally bypasses our rational step-by-step thinking. Okay, so let's look at a few other amazing real-world stories where this strange power was really put to the test. All right, first up, an American detective is on the hunt for a dangerous criminal. The police have it narrowed down to 3 possible areas, but they're stuck. They've got no clue which one is the right one. So the lead detective is just staring at a map of these 3 zones, and suddenly he just points to one spot. His team asks him, "Why there? What's your reasoning?" He's got nothing. It's pure gut instinct. So they swarm the area, and that's exactly where they find their guy. Or how about this one? The story of a juror named Thomas. He's on a jury that is all ready to convict a man named Shervick. I mean, the evidence looked totally overwhelming. But Thomas, he just had this nagging feeling. He just could not shake this gut feeling that the whole case was a setup. The feeling was so strong that even after the man was convicted, Thomas spent his own money to fund an appeal. And guess what? His gut was right. The appeal ended up proving the man was innocent all along. And look, this power isn't just for solving crimes or getting out of danger. It shows up in moments of pure genius, too. Just look at the legendary mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss when he was just a little kid. So his teacher, probably just to keep the class busy for a while, tells them to add up all the numbers from 1 to 100. I mean, that should take some time, right? Well, before the teacher's even done explaining the problem, 10-year-old Gauss just blurts out the answer, 50-50. It wasn't math in the normal sense. It was this incredible intuitive leap. And that's a perfect example of how intuition can crack problems our conscious minds get totally stuck on. I mean, you don't have to look any further than the chemist Dmitry Mendeleev and how he came up with the periodic table of elements. So Mendeleev had all the pieces of the puzzle. He knew all about the elements and their atomic weights, but he just could not figure out how to organize them. He wrestled with it for 3 straight days, got completely exhausted, and finally fell asleep at his desk. And then the entire elegant solution just appeared to him, perfectly formed, in a dream. These stories are amazing, but this isn't some new age idea. Thinkers throughout history have recognized this deep inner knowledge that seems to live inside all of us. The ancient Greek philosopher, Plato, for example, he didn't see intuition as just a simple hunch. To him, it was way deeper. It was like a form of spiritual sight, like our soul could actually see truths that our logical mind just couldn't grasp. And that idea is still very much alive today. You hear people talk about it all the time, this innate, trustworthy guide that we all have inside of us if we can just learn how to listen to it. So, okay, these stories are fantastic, but what does any of this have to do with you and me in our regular, everyday lives? Well, the truth is, we experience this same exact force all the time, just in much quieter ways. Come on, think about it. You've met someone for the very first time and just gotten a weird vibe, right? No hard evidence, not a single logical reason, just a powerful feeling that maybe you shouldn't trust this person. Or what about that uncanny, almost electric feeling of familiarity when you walk into a place you've never ever been before? That bizarre sense of déjà vu that makes you think for a split second, I've lived this moment before. That gut feeling that this job offer is the one, or that this relationship is all wrong, these little everyday intuitions, they're just echoes of the exact same force that saved a life on a bus and cracked the code of the universe. They're whispers from that deeper part of ourselves. The ultimate takeaway from our source really boils down to this simple but pretty powerful piece of advice. When necessary, follow your gut. So, the next time you get a feeling you can't quite explain, are you going to just dismiss it as random noise? Or are you maybe going to pause and listen? The answer might be more important than you think.